Okay, welcome to another video. Another new one for me to look at that I've never used before is HefftorLinux. So it's an HefftorLinux spin-off designed for style and stability, and of course HefftorLinux is based upon Arch. Looking at the screenshots here, it does look very well polished and quite, as they say, stylish. Now their number one download is the XFCE version, so that's the version that we've gone ahead and downloaded, and we are in the live environment right now. So we're going to go ahead and install it, but it does look very well polished out of the box so far. So we're going to go ahead and find the installer. I'm just going to type in installer. So it has install HefftorLinux. Let's open up their welcome app and open it from there. Do we have the installer links on here? So we got run gparted, run calamares. So we're going to run calamares so we know what the installer is. And there we go. Don't mind their little logo, it's like an infinity sign kind of. Right, we just got to load a module. While it's waiting, we're going to go for British English and go next. Okay, so we get to choose a couple of stuff here, so we can choose what kernel we want. So we could even go for the Zen kernel, and then we can choose the AMD U code or the Intel U code. So we're going to go for the AMD U code. We don't want any NVIDIA, so we're going to go for the normal Linux kernel without NVIDIA. So this installs the latest kernel and not from the one on the ISO. Or then we could get the LTS kernel without any NVIDIA, installs from the LTS Linux kernel. So I'm going to say we're going to stick with this one here. And I think we should be good to go. It's nice that it lets you choose what kernel you could choose. You could also use the Zen kernel, which is sort of based for sort of performance and stuff like that. But we're going to stick with just the standard kernel. So let's go for next. Okay, so we get to choose some programs that we might want to use out of the box. So it's got HefftorLinux TeamViewer, Discord, KRDC, which is it's like the KDE based remote desktop client, if I remember rightfully. Qtox, Remina, which is obviously remote desktop viewing, Riot Desktop, Skype for Linux, Slack Desktop, Teams, Telegram Desktop, Tiger VNC, Viber, Wire Desktop and Zoom. Now I don't want any of that, but we've also got a little label there saying communication, so I'm going to imagine we might even have some other sections and categories in this installer, and we do indeed. So we have the development section where you can get Atom, Bracket Spin, Code, Genie plugins, KDevelop, LeafPad, etc. So we're not going to use any of that. So what do we have next? Office. Okay, we might use something for Office. So we might grab LibreOffice. So let's go for LibreOffice still. And I think that's all we're going to get from there. Do we have any more? We do. So we even have the Multimedia section now. So we can get OBS, we can get Ardor, Audacious, Audacity, Celluloid, Clementine, OpenShot, Rhythmbox, Spotify, SM Player, Super Simple Screen Recorder. So quite a few stuff there, but we're going to skip that one as well. Okay, internet section. So at the moment, you might have noticed when we check the website out, the default that's included on the ISO is the Brave web browser. So I wonder if it's included in here. No, so I think it's going to automatically install Brave anyway. So shall we also grab Firefox as an additional web browser? I think we will. But they've got quite a few web browsers here as well. Even Google Chrome if you want the proprietary Google Chrome. So let's go next. Okay, gaming software. So again we have the HefftorLinux Meta Steam package. Armitage Ronad, Astro Menace, Chromium BSU, Play on Linux there. Okay, so we're going to skip that one as well. There is a lot of sections here, isn't there? Okay, utility software. Now I really like Albert. I wonder if it's installed by default on here. No, so I'm not going to choose it. I'm going to try and use as close to the defaults as possible. But you can install the application launcher Albert, and they also have the same sort of application launcher in Synapse or Synapse. Time Shift, System D Manager, Screen Fetch, Bleach Bit. Okay, we're going to skip that. But again, a lot you can choose from here. And now it's just general applications. So accessories, file manager, graphics, etc. So we're going to go straight forward. I'm going to imagine that's the last one. It is indeed. Okay, so we're in Europe, London. So we're going to go next. And UK is correct. Let's just test that keyboard out. Perfect. Okay, we're going to do a straight erase disk, and we're going to do it on this Drevo here. And I'm going to get a stopwatch ready just so I can see how long this takes to install. Okay, so we're going to erase disk, and we also get the option to add a swap with or without Hibernate. We're going to go with Hibernate. That way we can test the suspension to disk and make sure Hibernation works. So that's going to give us one partition of EFI at 300, one ext4 for our root, which is 77, and then the rest is all going to be assigned to swap to enable the suspend to disk to hibernate properly. So we're going to go next. Okay, user accounts. What should we call this one? Heffy. There we go. And I'm going to use the same password for the administrator and log in automatically. Okay, just review those options. All looks good to me. I quite like the installation process here with the categories of different sort of applications you can install. I like it when an installer includes that for you. Right, starting stopwatch. I'm going to pause the video here, and then once it's all installed, we will be booting into our freshly installed HefftorLinux XFCE desktop. Okay, the installation is complete, and it completed in exactly 4 minutes and 45 seconds. So quite a nice and quick install. So now we're going to reboot and check out our freshly installed XFCE desktop. Okay, here we are fully installed, and let's just close this off now. I don't think there's too much in a welcome screen we really need to look at. I think it was mainly for the installation to jump to Calamares. So you do have links to donate, GitHub, Twitch and YouTube. So we're going to get that off auto start now, and let's have a look. I must admit, I think that's a very nice looking desktop. I quite like this widget in the middle, and I quite like that font there for the date and time. Okay, let's have a little look around then. I'm quite excited. It's becoming a bit of a meme on my channel actually with these XFCE desktops. Every time I see a new desktop, I'm like, okay, that might be the best looking one. That might be the best looking one. Yeah, these XFCE desktops I've been taking a look lately do look very nice. Is this got a bit of blur to it? I know it's transparent, or is it? Is that a solid colour? Let's check out the panel setup first. Right, so display, it's a okay size of 30. Right, appearance. Okay, so it doesn't appear to have any transparency effect enabled, but it's using the style from the system theme. We'll have a look at the theming in a moment. The icons I think are Teller, however you say it. So the items we have is the whisker as our menu, Windows buttons. Now, I don't think we quite need the Windows buttons because obviously we have I'm going to assume this is Plank. Yeah, so we have Plank at the bottom here. We'll have a look at the themes for that in a moment as well, which you can launch and sort of close your, minimize your applications from. So I don't need it happening in two places. So personally, I would just remove the Windows buttons to get a cleaner top panel, but that's just a personal preference. So we've got rid of that. We also have the workspace switcher, and by default we have 4 set up. Notification area, pulse audio plugin, clock, separator, action buttons and separator. So quite a standard kind of top panel setup. I do like their icon actually, their logo. Right, we think this is Plank and we are pretty much correct there. So the theming is called Glass Pill when you get like a blue shadow and like a round bar, which is actually quite nice. Wow, okay, it comes with a lot of themes out of the box here. So it has Arc, Dark Panel, Pantheon. Does it have Shade, which is my favourite one? We're going to leave it on the default. There is a lot, and it even does have Shade there as well, which looks like that, which doesn't look too bad actually with the top panel as well, but we're going to leave it on the default because actually I don't mind that one. So we're looking for Blue Pill, aren't we? Blue Pill? Where's the Blue Pill? Or was it Glass Pill? There we go. Okay, we're going to leave that like that. It does have icon zoom on by default. Personally, I would take that off. There we go. I prefer it to be like a static size. But nice. So I often say a wallpaper does go a long way, and I think they've obviously realised this because the wallpaper does look very nice with the theming. So what's this here? Can we close that? Why have we still got the panel effect on there of the outline? There we go, that's better. So what's this? Create a launcher on the panel. Okay, I don't think we need that to stay there, do we? Can we get rid of this? Close? No. Okay, I wonder if we can get into the preferences and remove this icon there. So, docklets maybe? Applications, clock, no. Was it there when we first started? Have we done something to open that up? We'll have a look when we reboot whether that's still there or not. So we have our updates here, which is going to be the PAMAC. There we go. So there's quite a few updates that we need to get. So we're going to go ahead and do those updates. It's got transparency effect when we move the windows. So we've got almost a gig to get in updates. So we're going to get that now while we have a look at what applications it has installed out of the box. And of course we did choose to install Firefox as well as a secondary web browser, which is there. Right, we're going to let that go through the update. So it's going to remove bind tools and install bind. I think that's the only change there that's getting removed. So we're going to go for apply. Okay, let's minimize that and have a look at everything else then. So I want to start. We'll start in settings. I don't think there's going to be too much here. So we have a better lock screen GUI. So application for changing better lock screen. Let's open this a minute. Okay, so we can change the wallpapers of the lock screen. Change blur intensity. That's pretty cool. And they've got some really nice images here. They've done a good job at choosing sort of wallpapers and images to use for the sort of desktop. As I said, it does go a long way in just sort of your first impressions when you first start something up. So we have Conky Zen here. So I think this is a Conky widget in the middle. I think that's what's going on there. So we have add a remove, deconf editor. So we could do some stuff with deconf editor if we wanted to change any sort of aspects of our desktop there. Of course, our files manager is Funa. And let's just open up Funa and see what Funa looks like with the theming. Okay, quite nice. We've got hidden files showing by default. I'm not sure that I did that. So this theme, we know that the icons are tailored. Well, we don't know that yet. We've just guessed, but I think we're pretty much correct. What theme is this? It looks a bit like Lion in the colours. We'll have a look at that though. So let's close that. Right, so we're going to jump into accessories. So we have the HefftorLinux tweak tool, which I showed off in the HefftorLinux videos that I've done. We have Kvantum theming manager here. And it's on the default theme as active there, okay. So we have notes, Plank is the dock at the bottom like we thought. And we also have Vim installed out of the box as well. And we have Variety, which is the wallpaper changer. And I think this can do it on a schedule, although I could be wrong. Okay. So let's go into development now. So by default you get Sublime Text and Meld. Education, just LibreOffice Math. So we're going to have the whole LibreOffice suite because we chose that in the installation selection for packages. In graphics we have Ristretto for our images. Peak, record short animated GIFs. I've never used this before. So what, we can go like that. So that's like a frame for something. Record as a GIF, 3, 2, 1. And obviously if that was moving like a YouTube video, stop. And then let's chuck that in pictures a minute. It's quite a cool little program actually. It might be good for like sharing little GIFs on Twitter and stuff. So where's pictures? And there you go, there's our little GIF. Obviously it's not going to be animated because we didn't record any moving images. Okay, that's having trouble opening. Of course we are updating those, so I'll keep forgetting that. So we won't try and open anything crazy just yet while the update is happening. So the cursor is quite a nice theme as well. It's like a little bit like the Mac one when it's loading something. So it's like a spinning ball with colours. The design and sort of aesthetics is really nice on this, I must say. Right, so that was education, graphics. So we also have LibreOffice Draw in there and the colour picker. Okay, interesting. So I don't usually see qBittorrent installed by default on a lot of desktops as opposed to like Transmission or something. But that is our default torrent client. I don't mind qBittorrent actually. There we go. There's our torrent client there for managing our torrents. And that's going to run in the background in our system tray. That's fine. So internet we just did. Multimedia. So Peak is also in multimedia. We have Guck View as well. We have the Pulse Audio and then the QT V4L2 capture and just the capture utility. VLC is the default media player, so no complaints there. It also comes with XF Burn. I always find it funny that sort of a lot of distros still do come with XF Burn. I mean, I don't ever have a sort of DVD, CD drive on any computers that I use, but no burners are currently available, see, but a lot of distros still actually have this installed out of the box, which is quite funny to me. But I guess a lot of people might have quite old sort of hardware or actually just choose to have a DVD drive in their computer. Right, so multimedia we've done. So Office is going to mainly just be the LibreOffice suite that we did choose to include, and then we have Dictionary and Document Viewer. And in System is just going to be a lot of XFCE stuff. We have GRSync there, Terminal. Okay, let's see how our update is going. Okay, so that's nearly finished. I think it's on the last package there. And then once that's finished, we're going to do a reboot, check how much RAM it is, and just have a little play around with it and see how it all works together, because it does look very nice indeed. So I'm going to pause the video now and let that update finish. Okay, so we're back off a fresh reboot. Before we open up HTOP, I've just noticed that Create Launcher thing has disappeared, so that's pretty handy. Oh, okay, so we have some nice, I don't know if that's ASCII or not, but we've got some nice values default in our terminal there. So we've got system information, packages. So we've got 1108 packages out of the box. We did choose to install Firefox in the installation, so that's an extra few packages there. XFWM4, of course, Bash is version 5.0.18, terminal is URXVT, terminal font is JetBrains and Mono, and the kernel that we're currently using is 5.8.3-Arch, but of course we could have chosen a different one in the installer, like the Zen kernel or anything else like that. Nice, I quite like this default look. So the RAM that it's saying there is 762, which does seem quite high actually for an XFCE desktop. And HTOP has given us the same. I like the spacing in the terminal though. The whole theming of this desktop's lovely, it looks very nice. We will get a final RAM reading towards the end though, because sometimes you can get a bit higher values after an update and then a reboot, but we'll check that towards the end. But so far, RAM's a bit higher than what I would have expected. And of course there's our swap partition to test out Hibernation, which we will do towards the end as well. Okay, we're going to leave this open though. I do like the way everything looks though. Right, let's open up some programs in and see how it all looks together. Did we open the appearance package? We didn't, did we? Okay, so the theme is called Juno Plain Light, and I actually really like it. And it even comes with my other favourites, which are Arc and Arc Darker. But do you know what? For this desktop, I think Juno Plain Light probably looks a whole lot better than what Arc would do. So we're going to open up some of the other Junos, because I've never seen this theme before. So Juno Ocean gives it a bit of a darker feel, and if we open up the Windows Manager, we can change it in there as well to Juno Ocean. Nice, so like a bit of a darker colour there. I really like that. So Juno Mirage, and let's change that to Juno Mirage. Okay, that's is that lighter? No, it's a bit of a different shade to the Juno Plain Light. Now let's check out just straight Juno. Okay, I'm not a massive fan of that colour scheme there, but the Juno Plain Light and Ocean and Mirage are very nice themes. I'm surprised I've not actually seen these before. So let's go back on there. And then the icons are Teller, Blue, Dark, like we thought, and then it has all of the colours there for Taylor. Do we have any other themes installed out of the box? So it has the Sardi Arc stuff, which is nice to see. Sardi Flat. Surfing Arc. An icon theme for Linux. I've not seen this either. Wow, that's quite a nice theme as well. Well, I'm really liking just the theming and everything about this desktop. It's very pretty. The only thing I'm a bit concerned about so far is the RAM usage out of the box. Okay, very nice. Let's open up some applications in and see how it all works together. So let's open up Writer, which we installed in the installation. Okay, theming's very nice. Did we get the fresh or the still one? I can't remember. So we're on 6.4.6.2, which is probably the still version. So we don't have dictionary support out of the box, so we might want to grab some dictionary support. So let's open up the Brave web browser, which is the default web browser. And let's get a LibreOffice dictionary. I think I've probably spelled that wrong there actually. There we go, English dictionaries, and we're just going to download that and then open it in LibreOffice Writer. That's the download link. So we want the EU one, or the UK, English, British. There we go. Let's get this one here, and we're just going to download that. Let's close LibreOffice and then reopen it with that file. That way we should be able to get sort of auto spelling corrector work properly. You are, oh, got to do a default password there for the keyring. Okay, you're about to install extensions English speaking, hypertension dictionaries and thesaurus. Yes, please. Okay, so that should be all installed now. So if we restart now, we've already done that. Thank you very much. So if we go into writer, we now have the dictionary working as it should. Brilliant. I'll tell you what, let's leave that open for a moment. So we have side-by-side snapping installed out of the box. I wonder if it's got the key bindings. No. And the key binding for Super isn't bound to that. So we're going to jump into the keyboard shortcuts and see what they're all set as. So let's get out of that. So let's go into the keyboard. So to get to most of the keyboard shortcuts and not the application shortcuts here, we're going to go into the Windows Manager tweaks as well. Let's just make that a bit larger. Okay, so it's got none assigned for a lot of this stuff from what I can tell, unless if we go along, there we go. So it has quite a few defaults here, so it even has key bindings for web browsers like Brave, which is Control-Alt-V. And then that will open up the Brave web browser for you, pretty handy. So Chromium, we don't have that installed, we have Catfish there. So the better lock screen, should we test this out? So it's Super and K and Super and L. So let's try Super and L. There we go, that's our lock screen. Pretty tasty looking. We can still see the windows behind it in a transparent kind of effect, and of course we could have adjusted the blur in the better look login screen thing that we saw in the application launcher and Whisker. Nice, that looks really good. So if we just type the password, we're back in. Brilliant, I really like that. Okay, so that's the lock screen there. What else have we got? So we have D menu apparently, which is Super Shift and D. So if we press Super Shift and D, ha, crazy. So we even have the D menu up there that we could launch applications and commands from as well. I didn't expect to see that on an XFCE desktop, but there you go. Anything else that I want to have a look at? So it even has GIMP, but I don't think we have GIMP installed, do we? No, but it does have a shortcut for GIMP, which is going to be Alt and F2, is that correct? Super and F4. So we have GM run, and that is Alt and F2, so let's give that a go. Okay, cool, so we can also execute programs from here. So let's again just test that with Funa. Brilliant, I really like that. So what I would personally do, the same sort of shortcut that I do for Ubuntu, not Ubuntu, for Albert, is I'd assign that to Alt and space, but before we do that we have to go into the Windows Manager and go into keyboard here and then remove it from the Windows operations menu. I always just do that as Control space, and then I'm going to change this to Alt space, and now Alt space will open that up kind of like KRunner or whatever it's called in KDE. I really like this so far. I think that's pretty cool to have there. Very nice. So we also have Inkscape shortcuts, PAMAC Manager shortcut. I wonder what that one is. So that is Control Alt and P, which will open up our package manager. There we go. Pretty handy. So we should be all up to date now as well. Brilliant. Do you know what? I'm really liking this so far. Okay, so it's got a load of shortcuts here, isn't it, for a lot of programs, even for ones that aren't installed. So if you go ahead and install stuff, they'll be ready to use for those programs. That's pretty handy. I know it's fairly easy to do yourself, but obviously a bit of work's gone in to do that, which is very nice to see. Okay, brilliant. Right, now I want to see what the sort of moving windows and stuff is. So let's go into the keyboard here. Right, so we want to see what the tiling windows is. So moving window to workspace 1, you can do with Control Alt and then the numbers 1 to 4. But that's not actually working. Control Alt. Oh, that's move window to. So let's try it with this. No, that doesn't seem to actually be doing it for me at the moment. Move window to workspace 1. Control Alt 1. No, okay, not to worry. Right, so it hasn't got the Windows tiling out of the box. So what we're going to do then is do... Oh, hang on. I do like the way Whisker looks on here as well, with the transparency on the left as well for the applications categories. Nice. Right, so we're going to just do the standard super left and rights for this one. So tile window to the left, we're going to go super left, and tile window to the right, super right. Now let's test that with the terminal. There we go, perfect. That's what I like to see. Right, moving desktop. So we have where's left and right? There we go. So the default is Control Alt left and right. I'm just going to do that as Control left and right. So there we go. And now I'm going to do move window to workspace left and right with Control Alt. So the one that it was already on, wherever that might be, we're going to look for move window to workspace left or right. Here we go. Move window to the left workspace, Control Alt left. Move window to the right, Control Alt right. Let's test that. There we go, that's working. Let me just try with the numbers once more. No, it doesn't seem to work for me, but that working absolutely fine. Brilliant. Okay, cool. I think that's the sort of shortcuts that I really need to check out. And again, I'm very happy with this one here for the sort of G menu run thingy. And I do find it just very strange to have the D menu there, but I'm not too fussed about it. I can kind of get behind it. The idea of why there's quite a bit of RAM usage is starting to sort of rack up in my head there. There are quite a lot of things installed out of the box that I wasn't aware of straight away. So do we have Steam? I don't think we did we? We could have installed it in the sort of installation part. We don't. So there's Peak. I want to test Peak out actually with an actual moving image. Let's go onto YouTube a moment. I'm just going to mute it so we don't get any sound for the second. So let's test it with Instant OS. Right, so we've got a video playing there. Let's open up Peak with this. Oh, very handy. So I guess if we just move this window to here and then resize the window, I think that's got most of it in there. Now we can stop and start. Oh, I missed what the let me do that again to see what the actual. So we can stop and start with Control Alt and R. So let's test that out. Right, so it's going to give us a countdown of 3, 2, 1. Now that's recording a little GIF. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to stop it there. And now we're going to save it in pictures as T-Tech. And let's get out of that. Close tabs. And let's close this one as well. And now let's see how that actually works. So let's go into pictures now, and then there's T-Tech there. Does Ristretto not let you actually look at moving GIFs? I guess it doesn't. I wonder if we can open this in VLC. Where's VLC? Where's media? Sound and video. VLC media player. It's not actually moving. I'm sure that's just because we're not using the correct program to actually view it. But I do like the fact that we've got that installed out of the box there. I think that's pretty cool actually. So what's this? Is this just the... Right, so I think this is the wallpaper switcher. So if we go to next, there we go. So that's going to change our wallpaper very nice and easy like that. So again, we can go next. And let's go for one more, and then I want to go back to the first one. Oh, I like that as well. Very tasty. Right, let's go to previous again. And again. And one more time now. Brilliant. This is actually a very tasty XFCE desktop. Right, so what we're going to do now is test out Hibernation and make sure that works. Let's open up a few programs, and let's also open up, what's the text editor on here? So it has Sublime text editors. Does it have a standard one like LeafPad, Mousepad? Nope. Z? Nope. So I don't think we have a small text editor unless I'm being blind. We have Notes. No. Also Vim is installed out of the box, I suppose. Right, let's just do a little message in here. Testing Hibernation. Right, we're now going to try and hibernate. Do we have it in the menu? Hibernate, we do. Right, I'm going to pause the video here because it takes quite a while to hibernate, and we'll see if that all works. Okay, the computer is actually turned off faster than any distro I've attempted to hibernate before very recently, so I'm quite impressed with that. So we're going to hit enter. The screen won't change until it's actually started up. Okay, so we're starting back up now, and hopefully it'll be resuming from hibernation, and all of those programs that we had in the windows on the screen will be there straight away ready for us to use. This has been the fastest it's working, brilliant. That was the fastest hibernation and resuming from hibernation I've actually experienced in quite a while, to be honest with you. So it gets top marks for that. Right, so now what I want to do is do a reboot and get a final RAM reading and just wrap it up there. But so far, I'm actually very impressed with this distribution and just the overall look. The fact that Hibernation worked quicker than anything that I've used recently. I know the ones that I've recorded recently that took a while was HefftorLinux. And what was the last one I attempted with Hibernation? I can't remember, but that also took a very long time. This was a matter of seconds and it was hibernated to disk without any issues. So we're going to do a reboot now. Get a RAM reading and then just wrap it up there. Okay, so we're back. It does appear that the RAM is actually quite a high reading there from a fresh reboot of 770. But we've got quite a few things installed there, and I guess if you wanted to go through and get things down a bit, it wouldn't be too hard. So let's just check what is in this session and start up. And of course Plank will add a few MB here and there. So what is actually starting up? And we've got Conky. Let's have a look. Can I make this a bit larger? There we go. So in the start we have Blueberry, so I don't need that because my Bluetooth is not enabled on this computer. Conky, Glava, MPD. I don't need notes. Update notifier, that's fine. Variety, which is the wallpaper changer. I'm going to imagine that takes quite a lot as well actually. Yeah, I'm sure if you wanted to go through it though and sort of manually remove packages and really fine tune what is auto starting, you get a lot better RAM reading. Before we finally wrap it up though, I wonder if we have any Flatpak support enabled out of the box. So Flatpak isn't installed out of the box, and I wonder if Snap is. I doubt it. No, so it's got just the standard native packages, and again I'm going to imagine that AUR is not enabled by default, but of course we can just enable it. That's a good thing about Arch though. Most of the packages that you are going to need are going to be here and they're going to be up to date, so you don't need to use any of these universal packaging sort of managements. Oh, wrong one. Let's go into preferences. AUR. There we go. So the AUR is not enabled by default, but it's standard easily processed there. So no, I'm going to wrap the video up there, but I'm actually very happy with this. And again, it's probably not the best looking XFCE desktop I've ever used, but it's pretty close to it. And the amount of polish and just niceties that I didn't expect to be there, like sort of D menu and then this little bad boy there and a few other things, even Variety, the wallpaper changer, I don't mind it. I tend to just choose my own kind of wallpapers, but they've got a good selection of wallpapers installed out of the box there. So that's been HefftorLinux, the XFCE version. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and also join the Discord. There's a link in the description below. See you on the next one. Bye bye.